Hey, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then welcome. My name is Maddie, and today I will be comparing the manga, original anime, and 2019 anime version of Fruits Basket. I thought this would be a really fun video to do. Ever since the new anime to Fruits Basket came out, I've been wanting to see how exactly it compares to the manga, since the reboot is supposed to be an exact adaptation to the manga. So I went back and looked at all the scenes that the anime has covered so far, and I found a lot of similarities, much to my excitement. And I found a lot of differences that the 2019 version has with the original anime that are quite interesting. So I'm going to discuss the differences with the voice actors, the animation, and the character designs, and also scene by scene which scenes are different and which have remained the same. So let's just get into it. I'm going to start with the voice actors. Keep in mind that I am way more familiar with the English dub to both the original anime and the 2019 version than I am with the Japanese version, but I still will talk just a little bit about the Japanese version, very briefly. Let's talk about the Japanese cast first. Which ones are the same and which ones are different? All of the Japanese voice actors for the 2019 reboot are all different from the voice actors from the 2001 version. And apparently that's what the author, Natsuki Takiya, wanted. She wanted a whole new cast for the Japanese version, probably going along with the idea that she really wants this anime to be its own thing separate from the 2001 version, which I totally stand by. And I have seen episodes 1 and 2 of the Japanese sub, and it's really well done. I think the Japanese voice actors are doing an amazing job with it, and I'm so impressed by it. Now let's go into the dub, because there are some of the English voice actors that have returned for the reboot. Our 4 major characters have all returned, the first one being Laura Bailey, who plays Toru, Jerry Jewell, or Jewel, I think it's Jewel, I hope I'm saying that right, who plays Kyo, Eric Vale, who plays Yuki, and John Bergmeyer, who plays Shigure. But those 4 voice actors were in the original 2001 anime, and they all decided to come back, which I think is so awesome. It just kind of adds to the nostalgia you feel when you watch the reboot, because all of the English voice actors have returned, and it's so cool hearing how their voices have changed, and yet you can still tell that they are the exact same voice actors. And I actually like that you can tell that their voices have changed a little, so that it still doesn't feel like it's the same anime as the 2001 version. It still feels like it's separate thing. The only voice that sounds exactly the same is Kyo's voice, to a T. Like, I can hear no difference, and I actually love that, because the English voice for Kyo is kind of iconic to me. Like, whenever you hear that voice, you just know that it is Kyo, so that's why I was so happy that his voice stayed the same the most. We do have 2 voice actors who are different that have been introduced so far, and that is Torus Friends, which is Hana and Uo. The voice actor that played Hana in the 2001 version is Daphne Gear, excuse me, and in 2019 she's being played by Jad Saxton, and I can really tell that Hana's voice is different. Like, when I first heard Hana's voice in the first episode, I'm like, oh, Hana's voice is obviously different than the original. And then in the 2001 version, Uo was played by Parissa Fakiri, and in the 2019 version, she is played by Elizabeth Maxwell. And I was kind of surprised when I found out that she had a different voice actor, because to me, her voice kind of sounds the same as it did in the original. And I wonder if that was the intention of the voice actress, to mimic her voice the same as it was in the original, but I was kind of thrown off, because I really thought her voice actress had returned, because her voice sounds pretty similar to the 2001 version, at least to me. So those are all 4 voice actors so far, and now let's get into the character designs. There were a ton of differences that I spotted in comparison to the original anime. First, let's go over Toru. So in the manga, she has large brown eyes and a navy school uniform. In the 2001 anime, she has large blue eyes, blue ribbons in her hair, and the navy school uniform. But in the 2019 version, there's a little bit of a difference. In this version, her eyes are a little smaller in comparison to how they were in the original anime and in the manga. She also has brown eyes and yellow ribbons in her hair and is wearing a white school uniform. I know a lot of people were complaining because Toru's eyes were brown in the reboot instead of blue as they were in the original anime, but in the manga her eyes are actually brown. So I actually like that because they're taking that right out of the manga instead of the anime. The anime did get her eye color wrong. And her eyes also aren't as big, giving her that more mature look, which I like. Because in the anime she looked a little more doll-like and cutesy, but in the reboot she looks a little more mature because her eyes are less big and round. Now going over Kyo. In the manga, he has red-orange hair. The beads on his bracelet is red and white. In the 2001 version, his hair is a little more of a lighter orange than it is in the manga. His bracelet has black and white beads. And in the 2019 version, his hair is more red-orange. His bracelet has red and white beads. What I was most satisfied by was the fact that his bracelet had red and white beads, because in the 2001 anime, for some reason, they decided to make his beads black and white, which always bothered me because there is a significance behind his beads, and the color of them kind of matters to that. The color of them goes along with the story. So the fact that they are red and white because of that makes me so happy and just proves that they're really following the manga really closely, which I appreciate. Moving on to Yuki. In the manga, he has silver hair and gray eyes. In the 2001 anime, he has purple hair and purple eyes, which is a vast difference than how it is in the manga. I don't know why they made that decision. In the 2019 version, he has silver hair and gray eyes. So again, his appearance has been very closely adapted to the manga, and is one of the character designs that have been changed the most in comparison to the original anime. And then next is Shigure. In the manga, he has gray hair, light eyes, and his hair is like slightly longer. In the 2001 version, he has black long hair and dark eyes. But in the 2019 version, he has gray hair and lighter eyes, and I feel like his hair is a little bit shorter. That may just be me, but when I look at him in the 2019 version, in comparison to the original anime, his hair just looks a little bit shorter to me. So again, his appearance is very closely in adaptation to the manga. What I also noticed is that in the 2019 version, a lot of these characters seem a little more mature. For some reason, like, I feel like in the manga, they looked a little more doll-like, also in the anime. But especially with Yuki, he looks a lot more mature and masculine, which kind of defeats the purpose of the fact that he looks like a girl. In the reboot, he doesn't really look like a girl to me. But the manga author said that she did want the reboot to be a different animation style than it is in her manga. She wanted the two to be completely different appearance-wise, so that also might play in why they don't look exactly like they do in the manga. Now moving on to Torus Friends, starting with Hana. In the manga, she has long black hair, dark eyes, and black painted nails. In the 2001 version, she has black hair, dark eyes, and her nails are not painted. In the 2019 version, she has black hair, purple eyes, and her nails are painted black. So she's very closely adapted to the manga. But as far as I could tell on volume 17, where her character is featured, she doesn't have purple eyes. So I think that's a characteristic that the reboot just decided to make, which I'm not complaining because I love purple eyes. So Hana looks extra beautiful in this remake. And then there's Uo. In the manga, she has blonde hair and brown eyes. In the 2001 version, she has blonde hair and kind of dark gray eyes. It was kind of hard to tell, but that's how I interpreted them. And in the 2019 version, she has blonde hair and brown eyes. So again, another character that is being closely adapted to the manga. And then one of the characters that went through a drastic character design in comparison to the original anime is Motoko Minagawa, which is the Prince Yuki fan club president. In the manga, it's hard to tell like what the color of her hair or eyes are supposed to be because I couldn't find any colorized version of her character, so I can't really compare her to the manga. But I will compare her to the original anime, and in the original anime, she has brown hair and brown eyes, but in the 2019 version, she has blackish, kind of like a light black or black purplish hair and blue eyes, and the author did say that her hair is supposed to be kind of a black color. So this is another case where the original anime got it completely wrong because her hair is not supposed to be brown. And therefore that's why her character design is drastically different than it is in the original anime. So those are all for the character designs for the characters that have been introduced so far. Now let's talk about the animation, because this animation is, wow, so different from the original anime, but in a good way. In the 2001 anime, I felt like there were a lot of still images. Lots of limbs and body movements were kept very stilted. There wasn't a lot of natural movement to the characters. And the background scenes were also very frozen and kind of dull. Like in some scenes, all you would see in the background is just a blank wall or a blank color, so there really wasn't a lot of detail, and also there wasn't a lot of detail to facial expression, and the colors also seem a little more duller. They don't seem as vibrant. But in the 2019 version, I noticed so many more flowing movements that looked so natural. Specifically, the way the family moves when they're in their animal form is so natural to how their animal would move in real life. For example, when Toru picks up Kyo in his cat form, the way his legs swing as she picks him up is exactly how it would look if you were to pick up a real cat. Like, they wouldn't just stay still, they would move along as you pick them up. And in some scenes you can also see Kyo scratching behind his ear, flattening his ears when he feels guilty, which I loved that little extra detail because that's something that a cat would do. When feeling either scared or sad, they would flatten their ears. So I really like that how they added that in there because it made his cat form seem all the more realistic. Also, there are so many more brighter colors in this animation that look so beautifully vibrant. I think the most vibrant colors involve Kyo. I love how much his orange hair and red eyes stand out. Oh my gosh, it makes him look so pretty. And maybe I'm a little biased by saying that because I love Kyo so much, but I truly believe that his character looks so much better because of how vibrant the colors to his hair and eyes look. They're just, oh, they're so stunning. Now let's finally get into comparing scene by scene all the scenes that happen in the manga, the original anime, and the new anime. Starting with the opening, the way the reboot opens is so different in comparison to the manga and the original anime, and I love how the 2019 version opens with a scene with all the zodiac animals in a circle with God in the middle, with him holding the cat and then the cat crying. That scene sets the tone for this anime and tells you exactly what this anime is going to be about. That scene just encompasses the whole story in like 13 seconds or however long it is. It's so perfect, and I love how they added that little scene in there that tells you so much on what this anime is going to be about. Going into Yuki's fan club. In the manga, when we first meet the fan club, Motoko isn't with the girls. It's just the three girls, but Motoko isn't in the picture yet. In the 2001 version, Motoko is also not introduced with the three girls yet, but in the 2019 version, she is there along with the other three girls. So for some reason, the 2019 version decided to introduce her character early. I don't know why exactly. Maybe they just felt like throwing her character in there early so we can get to know her right away. But the manga didn't introduce her until way later. In the 2001 anime, you guys probably remember, those of you who are original fans of this series, that when the fan club is first introduced, they sing a little song. I don't even remember how it goes. Like, they sing like we love Yuki in a very annoying way, and then like sputter nonsense. Of course, I can't compare if they do that in the manga because the manga doesn't come with sound. But in the new anime, that has been taken out completely. And I think that's also because in the 2019 version, they're going for a more serious tone to the anime, so a lot of the comedy aspects have been taken out of the reboot. But sadly, their song, the Yuki fan club song, is not in the reboot, which is kind of a shame because that song was kind of iconic. You can always relate the Yuki fan club with that song whenever they would show up, and it was always so funny. In the manga, while Toru is talking about her past, she mentions that her grandfather calls her Kyoko because he confuses Toru with Kyoko, who is Toru's mom, all the time. In the 2001 anime, her grandfather just calls her Toru, But in the 2019 version, her grandfather calls her Kyoko. So again, another thing that is being taken straight from the manga. One major thing I noticed right off the bat. While Toru is talking to Shigure about her mother, in the manga, she tells him that when before her mom would go to work, she'd tell her to be safe. And in the 2001 version, she told her mother the same thing. But in the 2019 version, she actually tells her mother before she goes to work, "See you when you get back." So that is something they added that was different than it was in the manga and the original anime. And personally, I think the statement, "See you when you get back," is even more heartbreaking than "be safe," because that means Toru was expecting to see her mother come back home and then she didn't. So really, that statement is way sadder than the one she made in the manga. One thing you can blatantly tell was different between the 2019 anime and the original anime is that the hat shows up. In the manga, Toru has a hat that you can see in a flashback was given to her by a boy. And in the 2001 anime, that scene and that aspect of the hat is cut completely. But in the 2018 version, the hat is there in the opening, in the ending, in some scenes in the first 2 episodes, so we're gonna get a lot of the hat. We're gonna get the storyline that involves the hat, and oh my gosh, I still can't believe it. It just further shows that we're getting the full story, and that is awesome. In the manga, after Yuki shows Toru her room, she starts to wonder where Yuki's parents are. And in the 2001 version, she never wonders where Yuki's parents are, but in the 2019 version, she does start to wonder where his parents are. To me, that really goes to show that the Zodiac parents will be coming into play later on in the series, just like they do in the manga, because of that foreshadowing. So I love how that was thrown in there. What I noticed in regards to Yuki's wrap form is there's a lot of differences in comparison to the manga and the original anime. In the manga, the wrap looks a little slimmer. In the 2001 version, the rat to me looks a little fatter. Like, the rat is so weirdly designed in the 2001 version. For some reason, they went with a fat-looking rat, and the rat is also white. In the 2019 version, the rat is again a little bit slimmer looking and is actually gray. And in the original manga, I do believe the rat is supposed to be gray and not white. So they also took that directly from the manga. There was one scene that was cut from the 2019 version that was also in the manga, and that is where after Toru realizes that she's late for school, she goes to get dressed. She comes back and her uniform is completely dirty from the avalanche that fell on her tent, so all the dirt got on it. In the anime, the same scene happens where she comes out and her uniform is all dirty, but in the 2019 version, that scene doesn't take place at all, so we're never told that her uniform was dirty, and I think they just cut that out so they could get to the more serious scenes. Again, they're taking the route of the reboot being more serious and not as funny. So comedic scenes like that are being taken out, apparently. This next one only applies to the English dub, but in the 2001 version, English dub, they pronounce Akito's name way different. In the dub, they pronounce Akito's name, or they pronounce Akito's name as Akito. And in the 2019 version, they pronounce it Akito. And if you saw my reaction to the second episode, you saw how thrown off I was by that, because I had only watched the English dub of the 2001 version. I was led to believe that you pronounced Akito's name as Akito. But the original anime got that wrong, because I went back and watched the Japanese version of the original anime, and in that version they pronounced Akito's name as Akito. So, 2001 English dub, I am so angry at you for making me believe that Akito's name was pronounced Akito, because in all the, 7 years I've been familiar with this series, I've pronounced his name Akito. So shame on you, English dub. How could you lie to me like that? I am still salty over that. In the manga, after Kyo is finished fixing Toru's roof, he stays there at the house, but in the 2001 version, he runs away. In the 2019 version, he stayed. The 2001 version was just a big fan of Kyo running away from lots of situations. There's another scene where that happens in the original anime where it didn't even happen in the manga. And speaking of which, this next scene is also kind of similar. In the manga, after Yuki kicks Kyo out of the house after they have their first fight that is shown, he lands on the ground but doesn't run away. In the 2001 version, he also lands on the ground, but he runs away from the house. In the 2019 version, he lands in a pond and doesn't run away. And I love how they added the fact that he lands into a pond where like a cute little frog jumps onto his head. Oh my gosh, that was so cute. And Kyo's there just sulking with the frog going ribbit ribbit on his head. I love that. It made him look so cute. This is another thing that kind of threw me off when I saw it in the reboot. And that is when, in the manga, Hana is curling Toru's hair at the scene where it's Kyo's first day of school and all the girls are crowding them, and Toru, Hana, and U are looking on. Hana is curling Toru's hair. In the 2001 version, she is not curling her hair. In the 2019 version, she is. So that is something they also took straight from the manga and left me to wonder who curls someone's hair in a classroom. I guess it's possible. I just found it a little weird though. This next one is a scene that they cut in the reboot. So in the manga, after Kyo yells at her after she accidentally bumps into him while he's having a confrontation with Kyo at school, she goes into the school hallway and mopes. In the 2001 version, that scene is in there, but in the 2019 version, that scene was cut completely. And honestly, I don't mind that too much because I never felt that scene really added anything. We got the point that she was sad and upset that Kyo yelled at her while she was walking in the woods right before Kyo snuck up on her and was saying like, oh, I can't believe he hates me. And she obviously looked really sad. So that scene said enough and said everything that the scene where she was moping in the school hallway said. So I didn't mind at all that that scene was cut because it really to me didn't add anything. So those are all the comparisons between the manga, the original anime, and the new anime that I noticed. I really did a lot of research for this one, and I actually wanted to because I really wanted to see which scenes in the 2019 version were kept the same in the manga, which details were added in to make it a more closer adaptation to the manga. So I found a lot of things and I really wanted to share with you guys. So I hope you found this video useful and interesting. If I left out any details and comparisons between these three that you noticed and I didn't say, please let me know because I'm sure there are some things that I did miss, and I would really be interested to know if you guys noticed any scenes in the 2019 version that were the same or different to the manga or the original anime. So let me know if there is. I think this is a series that I will keep doing. Probably I'll compare and contrast 2 episodes at a time. So when the 4th episode ends, I will come back and compare them again because there will be new characters that will be introduced, new scenes that I'd like to compare to the original anime and the manga. So those will be coming out, and I am very excited for that. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more bookish related videos and also anime videos, and I'll be back really soon. Bye!